The communication terminal beeped 3 times before Jake Morrison looked up from his console. He was tired. 3 months on patrol duty around Mars had worn down even his considerable patience. The commander of the Earth defense vessel Valiant rubbed his eyes and accepted the incoming message. What he read made his jaw tighten. Another rejection. The Galactic Council had denied Earth's request again. Jake read through the official document slowly. The language was polite, almost friendly, but the meaning was clear. Humanity would not receive access to quantum fold technology. Not this year. Not next year. Probably not ever. The reasons given were the same as always. Earth was too young, too aggressive, too unpredictable. The Council needed more time to evaluate human maturity. 200 years. That was how long Earth had been part of the Galactic Council. 2 centuries of following their rules, paying their fees, and accepting their judgment. Other species got quantum fold technology after 50 years. The Vryn got it after 30. But humans? Humans had to wait. Jake forwarded the message to Earth Command and leaned back in his chair. Through the viewport, Mars hung in the darkness like a rust-colored ball. Human colonies dotted its surface now. 3 million people called Mars home. They had built cities, farms, and factories without any help from the Council. Everything humanity achieved, they achieved alone. His second officer, Amy Brooks, walked onto the bridge carrying 2 coffee cups. She handed one to Jake and sat down at her station. Amy had been with the Valiant for 5 years. She was sharp, quick-thinking, and had saved their lives more than once during pirate encounters. "You look unhappy," Amy said. "Council rejected us again," Jake replied. Amy sipped her coffee. Did they give a reason this time? Same as always. "We're too primitive." Primitive. Amy laughed without humor. "Our fusion drives are faster than theirs. Our medical technology is decades ahead. But sure, we're primitive." Jake couldn't argue with that. Earth's scientists had made incredible breakthroughs in the last 50 years. Things the Council said were impossible, humans had achieved. When the plague hit the Taurian colonies 3 years ago, it was human doctors who found the cure. The Council had declared the disease incurable. Earth proved them wrong in 6 months. On Earth, the rejection caused immediate reactions. President Nathan Cross called an emergency meeting. Everyone who mattered was there. Military leaders, scientists, economists, and diplomats gathered in the Situation Room deep beneath Geneva. The mood was dark. Ambassador Lisa Grant appeared on the main screen via quantum link from the Council station. She looked exhausted. Lisa had spent 15 years representing Earth among the aliens. 15 years of insults disguised as friendly advice. 15 years of watching other species get privileges denied to humanity. "They're never going to accept us," Lisa said bluntly. "I've spoken to representatives from 40 different species. Most of them think humans are dangerous. They're afraid of us." "Afraid of what?" General Linda Hayes asked. Linda commanded Earth's Space Defense Forces. She was a veteran of 3 major conflicts and didn't scare easily. "Afraid we'll surpass them," Lisa answered. "The Zentari have controlled the Council for 4,000 years. They've built their empire on being the most advanced species. But in 200 years, we've almost caught up to them. That terrifies them." Dr. Kevin Palmer cleared his throat. Kevin was Earth's chief science advisor. His team had been working on quantum fold technology for 20 years. "I need to share something," he said. "We've been analyzing Council trade restrictions. The patterns don't make sense unless you assume they're deliberately holding us back." Kevin pulled up charts and graphs on the main display. "Look at this. Every time we request a specific material or technology, they deny it. But if we develop something ourselves, they suddenly flood the market with cheaper versions. They're not protecting galactic safety. They're protecting their economy." President Cross listened carefully. Nathan was in his 2nd term. He had campaigned on improving Earth's position in the galaxy. So far, he had failed. The Council blocked him at every turn. "What are you suggesting?" he asked Kevin. "I'm suggesting they see us as competition, not partners. They'll never give us quantum fold technology because once we have it, We don't need them anymore. The room fell silent. Everyone understood the implications. If Kevin was right, Earth would never be treated as an equal. The Council would string humanity along forever, taking their resources while giving nothing in return. General Hayes spoke next. I've been running simulations. If it came to conflict, how would we fare against Council forces? She paused. Better than you'd think. Our ships are smaller, but we've developed tactical systems they don't have. Human creativity in combat situations gives us an edge. Every war game we've run against simulated Council forces, we've won. You're talking about war, someone said. I'm talking about being realistic, Linda replied. If we challenge the Council, they might respond with force. We need to know if we can defend ourselves. The answer is yes. President Cross stood up and walked to the window. Outside, Geneva sparkled in the afternoon sun. Millions of people down there living their lives, unaware that their government was discussing the biggest decision in human history. What about our colonies? He asked. New Horizons, Mars, Europa, and Titan are all defensible, Linda said. We have enough ships to protect our territory. It won't be easy, but we can do it. Economic impact, Nathan asked. The finance minister brought up more charts. Severe in the short term. We'll lose access to Council markets. Trade will suffer, but we'll also stop paying Council fees. Those fees amount to 30% of our interstellar economy. We've been subsidizing other species for 200 years. Nathan turned back to the room. Ambassador Grant, what happens if we withdraw from the Council? Lisa considered the question carefully. Chaos, probably. No species has ever left the Council voluntarily. They'll call it rebellion. The Zentari will demand we be punished, but some species might support us. The Taurians have complained about Council policies for years. The Krellian Federation has tensions with the Zentari. We might not be as alone as we think. But we would be alone at first, Nathan said. Yes, Lisa agreed. At first, we would be alone. President Cross looked around the room at the faces watching him. These were Earth's best and brightest. They had brought humanity from a single planet to a multi-world civilization. They had built wonders and overcome disasters. Could they do this too? I need a vote, Nathan said. All in favor of withdrawing from the Galactic Council? Every hand went up. Not a single person hesitated. Nathan nodded slowly. Then it's decided. Earth will leave the Council. We'll make the announcement in 72 hours. That gives our people time to prepare. Ambassador Grant, draft the declaration. General Hayes, move our fleets into defensive positions. Dr. Palmer, accelerate all research programs. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to find out if humanity can stand alone in the galaxy. The meeting ended. People filed out quietly, each lost in their own thoughts. Jake Morrison, watching from the Valiant, received his new orders an hour later. Protect the colonies. Prepare for anything. Stand ready, he looked at Amy. Get the crew ready. Things are about to get interesting. Amy smiled grimly. About time. The broadcast began at exactly noon, Earth Standard Time. Every communication channel in the known galaxy received the signal simultaneously. From the Zentari homeworld to the furthest Wren outpost, billions of beings tuned in to watch. Something big was happening, and everyone knew it. Ambassador Lisa Grant appeared on screens across 1,000 worlds. She stood in the main broadcasting room of Earth's lunar station. Behind her, through massive windows, Earth hung in the black void like a blue jewel. Lisa wore a simple dark suit. No decorations, no medals, nothing fancy. She wanted her words to speak, not her appearance. Citizens of the galaxy, Lisa began. Her voice was calm but firm. I am Ambassador Lisa Grant, representing the people of Earth. For 200 years, humanity has been a member of the Galactic Council. Today, that membership ends. The words landed like bombs across the galaxy. On the Council station, alarms started blaring. Zentari officials rushed to emergency meetings. News feeds exploded with speculation and shock. Lisa continued without pause. This decision did not come easily. We have spent 2 centuries trying to work within the council system. We followed every rule. We paid every fee. We respected every tradition. In return, we received nothing but obstacles and disrespect. She pulled up documents on the screen beside her. Here is evidence of systematic discrimination against humanity. Request forms denied without proper review. Trade restrictions imposed without justification. Technology sharing agreements violated by council members while humans were punished for minor infractions. The documents scrolled past. Each one was damning. Lisa and her team had spent months compiling this evidence. They had found communications between council members discussing how to slow human development. They had discovered price-fixing schemes designed to drain Earth's economy. They had proof of deliberate sabotage. Council claims to promote peace and cooperation, Lisa said. But their actions show something different. They promote control. They protect the powerful at the expense of the weak. They punish innovation and reward conformity. People gathered in public squares to watch. The announcement was being shown everywhere. Offices stopped working. Schools paused. Classes. Everyone wanted to hear what came next. We requested access to quantum fold technology, Lisa continued. This technology is provided to every council member after 50 years. We have been members for 200 years. Our request was denied. The reason given was that humanity is too primitive, too aggressive, too unpredictable. Yet in those same 2 centuries, humans have developed fusion drives superior to council standards. We have created medical treatments the council declared impossible. We have defended ourselves against threats the council ignored. Elisa's voice grew stronger. We are not primitive. We are not inferior. We are simply different. And the council cannot accept difference. They demand conformity. They require submission. That is not partnership. That is tyranny. The accusations rang through space. On dozens of worlds, species that had their own complaints about the council listened carefully. Lisa was saying what many had thought but never dared to voice. Therefore, effective immediately, Earth withdraws from the Galactic Council. All treaties are terminated. All trade agreements are void. All human colonies will operate under Earth authority alone. We will no longer accept council jurisdiction over our affairs. The declaration was absolute. No room for negotiation. No diplomatic softening. Earth was done. To the species of the galaxy we say this: we seek peace. We offer friendship. We will trade fairly with anyone who approaches us honestly, but we will not be controlled. We will not be limited. We will not accept second-class status in our own galaxy. Lisa looked directly into the camera. The Galactic Council had a choice. They could have treated us as equals. They chose otherwise. Now they will live with the consequences. The broadcast ended. The reaction was immediate and intense. On the council station, chaos erupted. The Zentari representative Vorn demanded an emergency session. Within 2 hours, delegates from 73 species crammed into the main council chamber. Vorn spoke first. His species looked like tall, thin reptiles with silver scales. They had led the council for longer than human civilization had existed. This is rebellion, Vorn declared. The humans have violated every principle of galactic order. They must be brought back into compliance. By force if necessary. Several delegates nodded in agreement, but others looked uncertain. A Vren representative stood up. The Vren resembled large insects with multiple eyes. They were known for logical thinking. Force may not be wise, the Vren said. If we attack Earth, we prove their accusations true. We show the galaxy that the Council maintains order through violence, not justice. So we do nothing? Vorn asked angrily. I did not say that. I said violence is unwise. There are other methods. The Halcyon delegate spoke next. The Halcyon looked like dolphins that had evolved to live on land. Economic sanctions, she suggested. Cut Earth off from all council markets. Let them struggle alone. They will soon realize they need us. More delegates voiced opinions. The debate raged for hours. Some wanted immediate military action. Others urged caution. A few, very quietly, suggested that perhaps Earth had valid points. The Taurian representative, being named Mira, waited until the shouting died down. "Has anyone considered," she said carefully, "that this crisis might be our fault?" The humans presented evidence of discrimination. "Should we not investigate those claims?" Vorn turned on her furiously. "You would side with rebels?" "I would side with truth," Mira replied calmly. "If we have treated Earth unfairly, then their withdrawal is justified. If we have not, then our evidence will prove it. But refusing to examine their accusations makes us look guilty." The debate continued, but Vorn had heard enough. As chairman, he had authority to act in emergencies. He called for a vote on immediate action. The measure passed narrowly. The council would respond with force. A blockade of Earth's territory would begin immediately. On Earth. President Cross watched the council proceedings through intelligence feeds. He had expected this response. General Hayes had already moved ships into position. Earth's military was ready. Nathan addressed the planet that evening. "My fellow humans," he said, "the Galactic Council has responded to our declaration with threats and blockades. They seek to intimidate us back into submission. They will fail." The president's words were broadcast to every human colony and settlement. "We have faced worse than this. We survived ice ages when our technology was primitive. We endured world wars that nearly destroyed us. We conquered diseases, famine, and disaster. A blockade does not frighten us. Threats do not weaken our resolve." Nathan's speech struck the right tone. Defiant, but not reckless. Confident, but not arrogant. "We did not choose this path lightly, but having chosen it, we will see it through. Earth stands alone if necessary, but I believe we will not be alone for long." Jake Morrison received his orders while the president was still speaking. The Valiant would lead a task force to New Horizons, Earth's furthest colony. Intelligence suggested council forces were gathering there. Jake would protect the colony and monitor the situation. Amy Brooks plotted the course while Jake assembled his crew. "How long to New Horizons?" he asked. 3 weeks at maximum speed," Amy replied. "Make it 2 weeks. Push the engines if you have to." The Valiant departed Mars orbit within the hour. Behind them, Earth's home fleet took up defensive positions around the planet. Other ships moved to protect Mars, Europa, and Titan. Every human vessel was now on high alert. As they traveled through space, Jake thought about what they were doing. Humanity had just challenged the most powerful organization in the galaxy. They had done it without quantum fold drives, without superior numbers, without overwhelming firepower. They had done it with nothing but courage and determination. It might be enough. It might not. But at least they were finally standing up for themselves. Jake looked at the stars ahead and wondered what would happen next. The Galactic Council chamber had never seen such disorder. Delegates shouted across the room at each other. Some demanded immediate action. Others called for patience. The carefully maintained facade of unity was crumbling. Chairman Vorn stood at the center podium, his silver scales catching the light. He was ancient even by Xantari standards. He had led the council for 300 years. Never in that time had he faced such chaos. A species had defied the council openly, and now everyone wanted to have their say. "Order," Vorn called out. His voice carried the weight of authority. "We will proceed with proper debate protocols." The Xantari delegation had already made their position clear. Earth's withdrawal threatened the entire galactic structure. If one species could leave without consequence, others might follow. The council's power depended on unity. Any crack in that unity had to be sealed immediately. A Krellian delegate rose to speak. The Krellians were a warrior species, tall and muscular with dark blue skin. They had fought wars with the Xantaris centuries ago. Those conflicts had never been fully resolved. "The Xantari fear losing control," the Krellian said. "But perhaps humans are right. Perhaps this council has become corrupt." Orn's eyes narrowed. "You support rebellion?" "I support examining our own behavior." The human ambassador presented serious accusations. We dismissed them without investigation. That does not reflect well on us. More voices joined the debate. The galaxy's species fell into loose camps. The established powers, led by the Zentari, wanted harsh punishment for Earth. Newer council members, those who had joined within the last 1,000 years, were more sympathetic to human complaints. A few species stayed neutral, waiting to see which way the tide would turn. The Vren delegate requested the floor. Violence against Earth will create more problems than it solves, but we must respond. I propose a complete blockade. No ships enter or leave human territory. No trade, no communication. Let isolation teach them the value of council membership. This suggestion gained traction. It was harsh, but not openly aggressive. It punished Earth without starting a war. After hours of debate, the council voted. The blockade would begin immediately. 3 fleets would surround human space. Any ship attempting to cross the boundary would be stopped. 97 warships moved into position over the next week. Zentari vessels formed the core of the blockade force. Vren ships provided support. Halcyon vessels patrolled the outer edges. It was an impressive display of power. The Council wanted Earth to see what they faced. On Earth, the blockade was expected. President Cross had hoped for more time, but the quick response didn't surprise him. He met with General Hayes to review defensive positions. "They're being careful," Linda said, studying the tactical displays. "They're not entering our territory, just surrounding it. They want us to feel trapped without giving us an excuse to fight back. Can we break through if we need to?" Nathan asked. "Yes, but it would cost us. We'd lose ships. So would they. Neither side wants to fire first. The question is, how long can we hold out?" Dr. Kevin Palmer joined the meeting via video link from his laboratory. He looked tired but excited. "I have good news," Kevin said. "We've made a breakthrough on quantum fold research." Everyone's attention focused on him immediately. "How big a breakthrough?" Nathan asked. "Big. We've solved the core equations. We understand the principles now. It's no longer theoretical. We can build a W. Orking drive." "How long?" General Hayes asked. 6 months for a full-scale drive? But we can build a test model in 30 days. The room fell silent as everyone absorbed this information. If Earth could develop quantum fold technology independently, the entire situation changed. The Council's main leverage was their control of advanced technology. Without that, they had no way to pressure humanity. "Do it," President Cross ordered. "Whatever resources you need, you get them. This is now our top priority." Kevin nodded and signed off. Nathan turned to Linda. "Can we hold the blockade for 30 days? "Easily. The Council isn't trying to starve us out. They're just flexing their muscles. Trying to scare us." "Good. Because in 30 days we're going to scare them back." Jake Morrison and the Valiant reached new horizons after 2 weeks of hard travel. The colony sat on a planet called Haven, in a system 20 light-years from Earth. 500,000 humans lived there. They had built cities, farms, and industry. Haven was almost self-sufficient. The colony's governor, Pete Collins, met Jake via communication link as soon as the Valiant entered the system. Pete was a practical man who had spent his life on frontier worlds. He didn't panic easily, but Jake could hear tension in his voice. "Council ships have been harassing our supply vessels," Pete reported. "Nothing violent yet, but they're boarding ships, conducting inspections, causing delays. They're trying to disrupt our operations." "Have they entered Haven's orbit?" Jake asked. "No, they're staying outside the system boundary, but their presence is clear. They want us to know they're watching." Jake reviewed the sensor data. 8 Council ships were positioned at the edge of the system. Not enough to invade, but enough to intimidate. "We'll handle it," Jake told Pete. "The Valiant and our escorts will provide protection. Any Council ship that enters Haven space will be warned off." Over the next week, the standoff continued. Council ships maintained their positions. The Valiant and 3 other Earth vessels patrolled Haven's space. Neither side took aggressive action. But Amy Brooks noticed something troubling. "Commander, look at these scans," Amy said, showing Jake her displays. The Council ships are using active sensors, very powerful ones. They're mapping our defensive positions, analyzing our ship capabilities, recording everything. Amy was right. The Council wasn't just watching, they were gathering intelligence, preparing for something. Are they violating any agreements? 6 different treaties prohibit this type of scanning without permission. But since we left the Council, those treaties don't apply to us anymore. It was a clever move. The Council was using Earth's withdrawal against them. All the protections and rules that limited Council behavior no longer applied to humanity. Earth was outside the law now. That gave the Council freedom to act. Jake reported this to Earth Command. General Hayes responded with new orders. Document everything. Every scan, every violation, every aggressive move. We're building a case. When this is over, the galaxy needs to see who the real aggressor was. Meanwhile, Ambassador Lisa Grant worked behind the scenes. She was no longer officially a Council representative, but she had spent 15 years making contacts. Many delegates still spoke with her privately. Some of them were uncomfortable with how the Council was handling Earth's withdrawal. Mira, the Torian delegate, met Lisa in a neutral location off the Council station. They sat in a small cafe that catered to multiple species. Mira looked worried. The Zentari are pushing for military action, Mira said quietly. They want to make an example of Earth. Show the galaxy what happens to species that defy the Council. Will they get the votes? Lisa asked. Maybe, maybe not. Many delegates are uncertain. But Chairman Vorn is very persuasive and very angry. He sees Earth's withdrawal as a personal insult. Lisa sipped her drink. What about your people? The Torians have complained about Council policies for years. My government is divided. Some want to support Earth. Others fear Zentari retaliation. We are not a military power. We cannot afford to make enemies of the strong. You're stronger than you think, Lisa said. All of you are. The Council only has power because species accept their authority. If enough species question that authority, everything changes. Mira smiled sadly. Perhaps, but change is dangerous. The current system may be flawed, but at least it's stable. Revolution could bring chaos. Or it could bring justice, Lisa replied. They parted with nothing resolved. But Lisa could see the doubt in Mira's eyes. Others felt it too. The Council's authority was not as absolute as it appeared. Earth had cracked the foundation. Now the question was whether the entire structure would collapse. Back on Earth, Dr. Palmer's team worked around the clock. They were building the quantum fold test drive faster than anyone thought possible. Scientists from every nation contributed. The project had unlimited funding and unlimited support. Everyone understood what was at stake. President Cross visited the laboratory personally. He watched engineers assembling the drive components. It was a beautiful piece of machinery, elegant in its complexity. If it worked, it would change everything. 30 days, Kevin told the president. We'll be ready in 30 days, Nathan nodded. The galaxy is watching. Let's show them what humans can do. The medical transport ship Mercy carried 37 patients from Mars to New Horizons. Most were routine transfers. People needing specialized treatment available only at Haven's advanced medical facility. The journey should have taken 2 weeks. It took much longer. Captain Ellen Price commanded the Mercy. She had run medical transports for 12 years. She knew every regulation, every protocol, every right she had under galactic law. But those laws didn't protect Earth vessels anymore. The Council had made that clear. 6 hours from Haven, Council patrol intercepted the Mercy. 3 Zentari warships surrounded the small medical vessel. Their weapons were powered, but not locked. The threat was obvious, but not explicit. Medical transport Mercy, you will stop your engines and prepare for inspection, came the Zentari commander's voice. Ellen complied. She had no choice. The Mercy carried no weapons. Against 3 warships, resistance was suicide. We are a medical vessel carrying critical patients. Several require time-sensitive treatment. Please conduct your inspection quickly. It will take whatever time necessary, the Zentari replied coldly. The inspection began. Zentari soldiers boarded the Mercy and searched every compartment. They examined cargo. They questioned crew members. They scanned medical equipment, looking for hidden weapons or contraband. They found nothing because there was nothing to find. But they kept searching anyway. Hours passed. Ellen's medical staff monitored the patients nervously. Some were stable. Others were not. A woman named Claire was dying of kidney failure. She needed transplant surgery within 48 hours. Every hour of delay reduced her chances. Len begged the Zentari commander, "We have critical patients. Let us proceed. Your inspection is not complete. You've searched everything twice. There's nothing here. You're just wasting time. We determine what is necessary. You will wait. 18 hours. That's how long the Zentari kept the Mercy stopped. 18 hours while sick people suffered. When they finally released the ship, Claire had slipped into a coma. 2 other patients had deteriorated badly. By the time the Mercy reached haven, 3 people were dead. Captain Price filed an official complaint the moment she docked. Jake Morrison received the report and felt his anger rise. This wasn't military action. This was cruelty. The council was targeting the helpless to make a point. "They're testing us," Amy Brooks said, "seeing how far they can push before we respond." Jake agreed. "Get me a secure channel to Earth Command," he reported the incident to General Hayes. Linda listened grimly. "This is the 4th incident this week. They're harassing civilian vessels, disrupting supply lines, causing problems wherever they can. All technically legal since we're not under council protection anymore. 3 people died, General. We can't let this continue."
I know.
"But if we respond with force, we give them the excuse they want. They'll claim self-defense and attack in full. We have to be smart about this." Jake understood the logic, but it didn't make the situation easier. Out here on the frontier, he saw the human cost of the blockade. People were suffering. Some were dying. And Earth couldn't do anything without triggering a war they might not win. Captain Ryan, Foster commanded Sentinel Station at the edge of the Sol system. The station was huge, a defensive platform bristling with weapons and sensors. Its job was to monitor the approaches to Earth, provide early warning of threats. Ryan had been watching Council ships for 3 weeks now. They maintained their blockade positions, but sent regular patrols along the boundary. These patrols probed Earth's defenses, testing response times and scanning for weaknesses. They were gathering data for an eventual attack, or being very systematic, Ryan's tactical officer said. Mapping every sensor array, every defensive battery, every ship position. When they attack, they'll know exactly where to strike. "If they attack," Ryan corrected, "we don't know their intentions yet. Sir, with respect, these scans make their intentions pretty clear." Ryan couldn't argue. The Council was preparing for war. The only question was when they would start it. He reported his observations to Earth Command daily. Each report added more evidence to T. He filed that General Hayes was building. Meanwhile, the diplomatic situation grew more complex. Ambassador Lisa Grant continued her secret meetings with sympathetic delegates. Vitorian Representative Myra introduced her to others, who shared doubts about Council policies. A small group was forming. Not large enough to challenge Zentari control, but large enough to matter. "There are 12 of us now," Myra told Lisa. 12 species who believe the Council is making a mistake. We cannot stop the blockade, but we can slow down any authorization for military action. It's something Lisa said. "Every day we delay gives Earth more time to prepare." Oh. What are you preparing for? You cannot match Council military power. Even if you fight brilliantly, you will eventually lose. Lisa smiled. "We're not preparing to fight. We're preparing to make fighting unnecessary." She couldn't explain more. The Quantum Fold project was top secret. If the Council learned about it, they might attack immediately to prevent Earth from achieving technological independence. Everything depended on secrecy. Dr. Kevin Palmer's team entered the final phase of development. The Quantum Fold drive was nearly complete. They had built it into a small research vessel called the Pioneer. The ship was tiny compared to the Valiant or other military vessels, but size didn't matter. If the drive worked, it proved the concept. Earth could build bigger drives later. Kevin barely slept. He lived in the laboratory, checking calculations, supervising assembly, running simulations. His entire life's work came down to this moment. If the drive failed, Earth lost its best chance for independence. The Council would maintain their technological monopoly. Humanity would be trapped. But Kevin believed in his team. They had solved problems the Council said were unsolvable. They had found elegant solutions to complex equations. The math was solid. The engineering was sound. It would work. It had to work. President Cross visited the laboratory 1 week before the scheduled test. He walked through the facility with Kevin, looking at the equipment, meeting the scientists and engineers who had made this possible. "How confident are you?" Nathan asked. Kevin considered the question carefully. 95%. "We've tested every component individually. The simulations show success. But until we actually fold space, we won't know for certain. And if it fails, then we try again. And again. Until we succeed. Failure isn't permanent, Mr. President. It's just information about what doesn't work." Nathan appreciated Kevin's calm determination. "The Council is getting more aggressive. We've had civilian casualties. Public support for the withdrawal is wavering. People are scared. We need a victory." "They'll have one," Kevin promised. "In 1 week, we'll show the galaxy that humanity doesn't need Council permission to advance." The announcement of the test came 5 days later. President Cross held a global broadcast. He told Earth citizens, and anyone in the galaxy listening, that humanity had developed quantum fold capability. In 3 days, they would conduct a test flight. The world was invited to watch. The reaction was immediate. On Earth, people celebrated in the streets. After weeks of tension and fear, here was hope. Humanity might actually pull this off. The Council's reaction was very different. Chairman Vorn called an emergency session. He was furious. The humans are bluffing. They cannot have developed quantum fold technology independently. It took the Zentari 2,000 years. Humanity has had 200. What if they're not bluffing? Asked a Vren delegate. Then we must stop them. Any ship equipped with unauthorized quantum technology is a threat to galactic security. We are authorized to destroy it. That would be an act of war, Mira objected. It would be enforcement of Council regulations, Vorn replied. The debate raged. Some delegates supported destroying the test ship. Others argued it would be murder. The Council's unity frayed further. While they argued, Earth prepared. General Hayes mobilized every available ship. If the Council attacked during the test, Earth would respond with everything they had. It might not be enough to win, but they would make the cost high enough that the Council would think twice about further aggression. Jake Morrison brought the Valiant back from Haven to join the defensive fleet. Every captain received the same orders: protect the Pioneer. Whatever happened, the test had to succeed. The galaxy watched and waited. In 3 days, humanity would either prove their worth or fail spectacularly. Either way, nothing would ever be the same. Commander Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Valiant and looked at the small ship that carried humanity's hopes. The Pioneer sat in space, looking fragile and insignificant. But inside that small vessel was the future, not just Earth's future. The future of every species that dreamed of freedom from Council control. "All ships report ready," Amy Brooks said. Jake nodded. "Then let's make history." The day arrived with perfect weather over the primary observation site in Australia. Millions of people gathered in open spaces to watch the sky. Billions more watched from their homes on screens. Every telescope on Earth and throughout the human colonies focused on one point in space, above Earth's orbit. There, the Pioneer waited. Commander Jake Morrison had volunteered to pilot the test flight personally. Some called it foolish for a senior officer to risk himself. Jake saw it differently. He had spent his entire career defending humanity. Now he had a chance to lead humanity into a new era. How could he refuse? Dr. Kevin Palmer spoke with Jake one final time before the test. The video link showed Kevin's exhausted face. He had barely slept in weeks. "All the calculations check out," Kevin said. You'll fold space, jump to Alpha Centauri, and return. The entire trip should take about 10 seconds from your perspective. To observers, it will appear instantaneous. And if something goes wrong? Jake asked. Kevin hesitated. Then you'll probably die very quickly. The ship could tear apart. You could end up trapped in folded space. Or you could simply disappear and we'll never know what happened. You really know how to inspire confidence? Jake said with a slight smile, being honest. But Jake, I believe this will work. We've tested everything we can test. The math is solid. You're going to make history. Jake appreciated the faith Kevin had in his own work. Let's hope you're right. The countdown began. Earth's defensive fleet surrounded the test area. 30 ships formed a protective sphere around the Pioneer. If the Council tried to interfere, they would have to get through some very angry humans first. President Nathan cross-watched from the Situation Room beneath Geneva. General Linda Hayes stood beside him. Every military leader, every member of government, everyone who mattered was watching. The entire planet held its breath in the Galactic Council chamber. Delegates gathered despite no official session being scheduled. They couldn't stay away. Even Chairman Vorn watched, though his expression showed contempt. He didn't believe humans could succeed. But he was worried enough to watch. Ambassador Lisa Grant watched from a private location, off the council station. Mira sat beside her. Several other sympathetic delegates had quietly joined them. If this worked, they wanted to witness the moment everything changed. Amy Brooks handled communications from the Valiant. Pioneer, this is Fleet Command. You are clear for engine startup. Jake's voice came back steady and calm. Fleet Command, beginning power sequence now. Inside the Pioneer, Jake ran through his checklist. Every system showed green. The quantum fold drive hummed with barely contained energy. It felt different from regular engines. There was a resonance to it, a vibration that seemed to come from somewhere beyond normal space. Drive charging, Jake reported. 70%. 80%. 90%. On Earth, people watching the sky saw the Pioneer begin to glow. Not with fire or light from engines. Something else. The ship seemed to blur at the edges, as if reality itself was uncertain about where the vessel ended and space began. Full power achieved, Jake said. Engaging quantum fold drive in 3, 2, 1, mark. The Pioneer vanished. For 3 seconds, nothing existed where the ship had been. Not empty space. Not darkness. Nothing. As if that piece of the universe had been temporarily removed. Then, exactly where Dr. Palmer's calculations predicted. 3 light-years away near Alpha Centauri, space folded again. The Pioneer appeared, whole and intact. Jake's instruments showed he had traveled 3 light-years in 0 time. Impossible according to Council science. Achieved by a human engineer working with determina, Tyone, and creativity. Fleet Command, this is Pioneer. Jake's voice came through perfectly clear despite the distance. Quantum fold successful. All systems nominal. Drive performed beyond specifications. Beginning return jump, another fold. Another impossible moment of non-existence. And then the Pioneer reappeared exactly where it started, back above Earth's orbit. The entire journey had taken 10 seconds. A trip that would have required weeks using conventional drives. Earth erupted in celebration. People cheered, cried, hugged strangers in the street. The impossible had happened. Humanity had done something the Council said couldn't be done. They had broken free from technological dependence. On the Valiant, Amy Brooks was grinning so hard her face hurt. Commander Morrison, welcome back. That was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Jake felt his own relief washing over him. It worked. Kevin, are you hearing this? Your crazy idea actually worked. Kevin Palmer collapsed in his chair in the laboratory. His team was celebrating around him. Some were crying. Others were laughing. Years of effort had paid off. They had changed human history. President Cross addressed the nation within the hour. His speech was broadcast across every human settlement and to the galaxy beyond. Today, Humanity took a leap into the future. We have proven that we do not need permission to advance. We do not need council technology. We have our own ingenuity, our own determination, our own brilliance. Nathan's voice grew stronger. To the Galactic Council, we say this. We left because you treated us as inferiors. Today we proved we are not. We will continue developing our own technology. We will continue expanding our capabilities. And we will do so without asking for your approval. To the species of the galaxy, we extend friendship and cooperation. We will trade with anyone who treats us fairly. We will share our discoveries with anyone who approaches us with respect. The age of gatekeeping is over. Knowledge should be free, not hoarded by the powerful. The council chamber descended into chaos. Chairman Vorn demanded immediate action. They have violated galactic security laws. We must destroy their quantum capability before they become a threat. But his support had crumbled. The Vren delegates stood up. Destroy what? Technology they developed themselves. We cannot punish innovation. That makes us tyrants, not peacekeepers. The Halcyon representative agreed. Earth has proven they don't need us. Attacking them now accomplishes nothing except proving their point. We were wrong to deny them. We were wrong to treat them as children. They are equals whether we like it or not. Mira spoke for the Reform faction. This is an opportunity. For 200 years, we have maintained control through restricting technology. Earth has shown that such restrictions are ultimately futile. Determined species will innovate regardless. Perhaps we should change our approach. Instead of gatekeeping, we could facilitate. Instead of controlling, we could cooperate. Other delegates began voicing support for reform. The momentum was shifting. Vorn could see his authority eroding. Species that had feared Zentari power now saw an alternative. Earth had stood up to the council and survived. Others might do the same. Over the next week, the blockade began to collapse. The Vren ships withdrew first, then the Halcyon vessels. Even some Zentari ships pulled back, their captains unwilling to maintain an obviously failing strategy. Within 10 days, the blockade was gone. Chairman Vorn faced a vote of no confidence. His aggressive policies had failed. Worse, they had exposed deep flaws in council structure. He lost the vote and stepped down. The council began discussions about reform. President Krauss received communications from over 24 species interested in trade agreements. Not council-approved trade. Direct bilateral agreements between Earth and individual species. The monopoly on interstellar commerce was breaking down. Captain Ryan Foster watched from Sentinel Station as council. Ships departed. Well, that's a sight I didn't expect to see, he said to his crew. They're actually leaving. We won, his tactical officer said, sounding amazed. We survived, Ryan corrected. Winning comes next. Ambassador Lisa Grant returned to the council, but everything was different now. She wasn't a supplicant anymore. She represented a power that had proven itself equal to any in the galaxy. Delegates who had ignored her before now sought her input on reforms. Myra and Lisa worked together on proposals for a new council structure. One that didn't concentrate power in a few ancient species. One that gave every member equal voice, regardless of how long they had been in space. One that encouraged innovation instead of suppressing it. It will take years to implement all these changes, Mira said. That's fine, Lisa replied. We're patient. And now that we have quantum fold drives, we can afford to wait. We're not dependent on council goodwill anymore. Dr. Kevin Palmer established the Institute for Advanced Research. Scientists from dozens of species applied to join. Kevin welcomed them all. We're not going to hoard our discoveries like the council did, he announced. Any species that wants to learn quantum fold principles is welcome. Knowledge grows when shared. The decision shocked some people. They wanted Earth to maintain a technological advantage. But Kevin understood something important. Power built on secrets was fragile. Power built on sharing and cooperation lasted. Commander Jake Morrison took the Valiant on its first quantum fold mission. They jumped to a system 200 light-years from Earth. A journey that would have taken years happened in seconds. What they found were 3 primitive species, all pre-spaceflight. The Council had known about them but never made contact. Too much effort for too little gain, Jake made contact carefully. He didn't want to frighten them. Over several months he established relationships, showed them that the galaxy contained other intelligent life, offered help with no strings attached. When he returned to Earth, Jake reported that hundreds of such species probably existed. The Council had ignored them because they offered nothing valuable. But Earth could reach them now, could establish relationships, could build a network of allies based on mutual respect rather than exploitation. 1 year after the withdrawal, Earth hosted the first Galactic Assembly. It wasn't meant to replace the Council, but to offer an alternative. 43 species attended. Some were Council members looking for reform. Others were young species Earth had contacted. A few were Council critics who had never had a voice before. President Cross opened the assembly with a speech that set the tone. We don't gather here to tear down the old order. We gather to build something new. A galaxy where every species has a voice. Where technology is shared, not hoarded. Where cooperation trumps control. The assembly lasted 2 weeks. It produced no binding agreements, but it established principles. Voluntary cooperation, free exchange of information, mutual defense without domination. Species left with hope that the galaxy could be different. The Galactic Council still existed. The Zentari still held influence, but their absolute power was broken. Other voices now competed. Other visions for the future gained support. The galaxy was changing. Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Valiant, looking at a star map that showed humanity's expanding reach. In 1 year, they had explored 30 new systems, made contact with 7 species, established trade with 12 worlds, and they were just beginning. Amy Brooks walked up beside him. Where to next, Commander? Jake smiled. Anywhere we want. That's the whole point. Behind them, through the viewport, Earth shone in the darkness. A blue marble that had refused to accept limits, that had dared to challenge the powerful. That had proven courage and innovation could change the galaxy. The cosmos had been alarmed when Earth cut ties with the Council. Now the cosmos watched with respect as humans showed what freedom truly meant. Not freedom to dominate. Freedom to explore, to discover, to grow. Freedom to be equals among the stars. The age of Council dominance was ending. A new age was beginning, and humanity against all odds had helped bring it about. Not through military might, not through economic power, but through the simple refusal to accept someone else's limitations on what they could become. The stars beckoned, and humanity, finally free, answered the call.